imate prijatelje.
Wing Commander Dicky Patanas, the officer commanding number 3 Fighter Squadron.
So, you were in Libya?
I was in Libya from the, flying out of Gioia del Colle in southern Italy with the Eurofighter Typhoon, and I was there from the 10th of June to the 23rd of September this year.
You were part of Operation Elmi?
I was, yes, I was on Operation Elmi, and I flew over 150 hours in the 3 months that I was flying over Libya.
Your plane of choice was?
Definitely the Eurofighter Typhoon. Fantastic aircraft to go and conduct operations with.
Everybody's interested in your concrete experiences in combat with it. Can you tell me something more about that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that everyone's interested in Typhoon. For the Royal Air Force, it's the right choice. It's an incredibly capable aircraft. We're able to get airborne from a base 600 miles away from the conflict area. On the way down to that area, with all the technology and sensors on board of Typhoon, I can have the recognised air picture in the cockpit, so I can see every single aircraft that's flying over Libya. I can interrogate each aircraft, and I can see what it is, how high it's going, how fast it's going, and where it is. I'm also able to see the disposition of the maritime fleet, so I can see every ship that's out there, so I can see where the carrier group is, I can see where the destroyers are. And if Astor and J-Stars are flying and they're painting some ground tracks, I can also see those. So I'm able to see what's of interest on the ground in Libya at the same time. And all of that is 600 miles away. So a fantastic capability, and I haven't even started. And then when I get there, I'm able to go anywhere in the country extremely quickly and deliver the precise effects that I want to have. So for example, my second to last sortie was a typical example of that. I went to a refuelling area. I didn't know where they were going to task me. When I took my fuel, they gave me my tasking, and they said you need to go to Bani Walid. So I flew over to Bani Walid, to the south and east of Tripoli. Whilst I was there, we found a tank. The tank was dug in by a vehicle checkpoint. Because civilians were close by, we couldn't use a big bomb, so we decided to use a DMS Brimstone that was on my wingman on the Tornado, and we destroyed the tank. When we finished there, we went back to refuel again, and they said, now you need to go to CERT. So we went to CERT, and they said there might be some main battle tanks firing into the civilians. We had a look around CERT, and there were no tanks. It turns out that the civilians were letting off some fireworks. They were just enjoying themselves. I don't know what or why they were letting the fireworks off. So we watched the fireworks, and there was no trouble there, so we left everyone alone. I went back and refueled, thought we were going to go home, and said, no, you now need to go down to Wadan Hunt. So we flew to Wadan, and there were 2 missile multi-rocket launchers firing at civilians, and there were 2 vehicles with big machine guns at the back, so we call them technicals. So 2 technicals firing at civilians as well. So we destroyed those 4 vehicles with bombs from the Typhoon and bombs from the Tornado, and then we took some more fuel and we flew back to Italy. To put that into a European context, because not everyone understands the size of Libya, it's a huge country, so that's the equivalent of taking off in Oslo, flying to London where we found a tank and destroyed it. We then went to Paris where the fireworks were, and then they then sent us to Luxembourg where we found 4 vehicles, destroyed them before we returned back to Oslo. So you can see the aircraft gives you the ability to travel huge distances very, very quickly, and when you get there have a very deliberate and a very precise effect.
The total time of that combat mission was?
That was 7 hours 15 minutes.
And the sensor fusion during that mission, you communicated with other reconnaissance assets. Can you elaborate a bit?
Yes, with the link we were able to send each other messages, so effectively a text message with lots of different types of information within that. We can also use our radars, we can use our DAS, our defensive aid subsystem, to see what's looking at us, and also just the sensors of the weapon systems, the Lightning 3 pod, etc. And that whole combination gives you battle-winning situational awareness. The Typhoon at the moment in the Royal Air Force, the Tranche 1 Typhoon, we're only carrying the EPW2, so they're the weapons that we dropped. Future Typhoons, so that the Tranche 3 and the Tranche 2, they'll be carrying Peihui 4, Brimstone and Storm Shadow.
Okay, did you encounter any air-to-ground missiles, anti-aircraft artillery fired?
There were active air-to-ground missile systems which we destroyed in the early days of the conflict. Personally, no missiles were fired at me, but there were lots of AAA that was always being fired from the ground up at the aircraft.
So to conclude, you will go into combat mission in a Typhoon again?
Absolutely, if I'm tasked to do so. My squadron stands ready. We have a high state of readiness in the Royal Air Force, and wherever we're tasked to go, we will go to that theatre and we'll conduct any missions that are required of us and return back to the UK.